Welcome to the 905 podcast. I'm your girl, Savanna.
And I'm Charles.
All right, Coach. You know this player, Henry Ellenson. You coached him last year, actually. What can you tell me about him?
Very talented, 6'10", big man, can shoot the three. Great teammate, even better human being. Really looking forward to having people get to know him.
Now, just some pre-banter before we started recording. I heard he's a big fisherman. So I'm looking forward to, seeing what he has to say about that and what he's been up to in his off season as well. That's
right. He's got a little spot up in Rice Lake where he's from that we've talked about quite a bit last season during our film sessions. And it's a nice little spot. I've yet to get the official invite, hoping to get it today.
Maybe, we'll see. All right, guys, let's introduce Henry Ellenson onto the Raptors 905 podcast. Joining us now is Henry Ellenson, part of the 905 just new this year, and he has a relationship already with Kissy. So you guys, I feel like I'm going to be out of the loop. So fill me and the rest of the listeners in on how you guys know each other so well.
Well, actually, last year I was with the Brooklyn Nets as a two-way, and then I got waived. And, halfway through the year, I got traded to the Raptors 905. And Coach Kissy welcomed me with open arms last year, halfway through the season, and was my guy. So, able to know Kissy now for a little over a year, I think it's been. And our season got cut short because of COVID and everything. But going to be back on the phone with him for sure.
That's right. Rice Lake's very own. I know we talked about a lot of things over that time, but fishing. Did you get to fish this summer?
With COVID going on, of course I did. So being from Rice Lake, I actually live on a lake right next to it in Shell Lake, which is even a smaller town. So if you don't know Rice Lake, that's fine, because that's a town of 8,000. And then I moved to a different lake, which is like a town of 1,000, but it's a bigger lake though, whatever. But I was able to get out there, go fishing a little bit. Funny thing is though, lived on the lake for a couple of years now since my rookie season, and it's a really clear lake, so it's kind of hard to fish, to know where to throw in a line and stuff. And during COVID, we're like, all right, we gotta. To be honest, the first 3 years I didn't catch a fish on this lake because I'm like, I don't know what to throw in there. I don't even know what's swimming down below. It's so clear. I'm like, I can see the bottom. I don't know what's swimming and stuff. And sure enough, during COVID, we just got to figure this out. We heard there's a lot of northern pike down there. So found some spinners and we got the right bait. And all summer we were just be able to catch a ton of northern. That was the only fish we figured out how to catch was the northern. So we just stuck with that. But I was able to fish, go swimming a lot, jet ski a little bit. And so, for being locked up in quarantine, I was actually in a pretty good place.
That's not bad, considering fishing is probably one of the most socially distant activities you can do.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, I was doing all right on the lake. There's always social distancing on the lake.
So, Henry, you are a first round draft pick. You're they would say a one and done, so to speak. Take us through all McDonald's AllAmerican. Take us through the moment you knew you were wanting to play in the NBA, and then your choice to go to Marquette. Did you know that you were going for a year?
So for me, I've growing up, my dad played at the University of Wisconsin and was the captain there and stuff. And my mom played college ball and then coached it for a little bit. And even my mom was a college coach and my dad was her assistant. So that's a whole nother story. But so my family is huge in the basketball. And then my two older brothers played college ball. My sister still plays college ball. She's a senior right now. So basketball was always a huge thing for my family growing up. So I always knew I wanted to be a basketball player. And then I got a little older, maybe fifth, fourth grade. My dad told me, you can do this for a living. And that's when I was sold I wanted to be an NBA player. And so always growing up, love watching college basketball, but my favorite was to watch NBA basketball. My friends would be talking about the college game and stuff like that. And I was always asking, you see the NBA game? And, they weren't always quite watching like I was. So growing up, I always knew I wanted to be an NBA player. Was always tall enough for my grade, and my parents were always the coach, but my dad had me playing point guard growing up because he knew you needed the skills. And so, you know, being able to play point guard, have the skills, have parents who knew how to teach the game really helped me. And then having older brothers to go against was huge for me, just be able to tag along with them in the gym. And so, you know, growing up, always having the skill set, and then getting to high school to be able to go put my talents up against national ranks, and, you know, being a top 5 high school player out of my class and getting the McDonald's AllAmerican and stuff. I was highly recruited, and always being big into family and staying close to home. My brother played in Minnesota and then transferred to Marquette. And my final 3 list of schools was Marquette, Michigan State, Kentucky. You know, being able to go on an official visit and getting to see campus at Marquette in Milwaukee with my brother was just something I couldn't pass down, knowing that, you know, if I was going to go to college for a year, might as well go to college with my brother. So now it was a special season. I'd be able to share with him, and then being able to have a good enough season to be talked about getting drafted first round, and then being picked 18th by the Detroit Pistons was something, was the dream come true for me. And then also my family, just because they're along with me the whole journey of my basketball career. And so, you know, that was a special time. It's crazy to think that was 5 years ago. I'm 24, but I'm going to year 5 as a pro. What's kind of cool to say. We got a couple of rookies this year who are like about my age, or maybe half a year younger, and there's their first year. So it's kind of crazy to think that, you know, that this is year 5 for me and this is year 1 for them. So it's just been a crazy journey, but I won't change it for anything.
Basketball does that. Like, there's so many different stages at so many different ages of the game. You know, like, it really just comes to experience and how well equipped you really are. You know, how was it like growing up in such a basketball family? How competitive were you guys?
Well, especially, I think growing up, I was always, so if I was in 4th grade, like, my oldest brother's about 3 years older than me. And then my other brother, Elwood, who's in between us, is 2 years older than me. And so when I was playing against them, it was like, yeah, I was bigger for my grade, but I wasn't bigger than my, you know, 7th grade, 8th grade brother when I'm 3 years younger. So I'm like, I got to figure out a way to score. I'm not backing no one down, you know? So it's like, I actually, my freshman year in high school is when I outgrew them. When I was 6, I grew to be 6'7" my freshman year, and that was a little taller than my brother. And then eventually I grew to be 6'10", and then my other brother's 6'8", and the other one's 6'6". So we all were tall, but I wasn't taller until then. And so trying to figure out a way to score was always competitive. That's why I like to shoot the 3-pointer a lot, because when I was young, there's like, you know, I got to get him up somehow. I'm not going to paint. My brother's really athletic. He's going to block every shot I took. So now that definitely gave me it was more of a necessity than, like, if I'm going to be able to play with him, I got to score somehow. So being able to put the ball on the floor, be able to shoot the ball, that was huge for me. And so that's why I credit a lot of my skill to them, because it's like, if I didn't have that to go up against growing up, like, who knows, maybe I'd just be backing down my kids my age. But, you know, I was always playing up. So no, I credit a lot of my basketball ability to them.
And to your parents, both who coached,
Right.
What was some of the advice that they gave you as you were sort of going through this, and really from college to the NBA? You know, you said your dad, you know, told you that, hey, you could do this for a living.
Right.
How did they sort of guide you to that decision? How do you come to that decision? You know, you want to play, but how do you get there?
Yeah. So you know, my parents' mantra always growing up was like, play hard, have fun. You know, they know basketball is a game. The first thing you should be doing is, you know, out there having fun for the most part. And that was always growing up, you know, play hard, have fun. You got to, you know, spend the energy on the court, but also having fun at the same time. So growing up, that was always a thing. Still to this day, before I have a game, my mom would text me that, you know, my dad would text me that. So that's always been the same thing growing up. And, you know, having parents who played, you know, at a high level, was able to coach it and be around it their whole life, I think was definitely an advantage for me, you know. Especially where I'm from, small town. It's not like there's that many people who've been able to do that. And so, you know, having that guidance was huge, especially my dad. He always had me dreaming big, for sure. He was always telling me, like, why can't you, like, you can do this. Like, why not go for it? You know, it's like he's like, we gave you you're 6'10", you got our genes. It's like, it's up to you now. So they always kind of, they definitely were able to push me, have me dream big for setting goals. That was huge. I always had a goal sheet growing up. I have some even back in my book now. I look from high school saying I want to get drafted to the NBA first round. So it's some things like that I can be able to see, like, oh, I was able to accomplish that. And so they always had me dreaming big, be able to go for it. And, in college, when it was time to make my decision, it was like, my parents were both teachers. They both had their masters. They're like, you know what, school's going to be around forever for you. This is something you can chase while you're young, to go play in the NBA. And, this is something we always talked about growing up on Main Street back in Rice Lake. And so, so much support I'm very fortunate to have had and still have throughout my whole career. I don't think many people have as much support as I have, for sure, to be able to make my dreams possible.
That's incredible. And you did have a really great year at Marquette, and you only played there for exactly that one year before making your decision to go. But in that 1 year, all Big East first team, Big East Freshman of the Year honors, you wrapped it up and you really put your team on your back for a lot of games. Now, what went into the decision though to declare for the draft? That's a big move.
Yeah, for sure. And it's funny to even think back about my Marquette days, because I think about it now, I'm like, to be able to do what I did was obviously huge to kickstart my career and put me in the position I am. But now it's crazy even thinking about my Marquette days, because it went by in a snap. There's actually a guy who plays for the Los Angeles Clippers GLeague team, and he was with me at Marquette, and it's his first year out as a pro, and he's a rookie. And I was, we were freshmen together, first day on campus. So it's crazy to think that was 5 years ago for me, playing at Marquette and stuff, because the year seemed to go by so fast. But, like I said, growing up, just back in Rice, like dreaming about playing in the NBA, staying up every night of the week during school, watching the East Coast, West Coast games, staying up till midnight watching those games, and, being able to have a season at Marquette where I was able to have some success personally and as a team, to put me in that position to get drafted first round. It was a decision that, I knew I was leaving school, but this was something I worked for my whole life, and that this is the position I always wanted to be in, and that I was going to go for it.
So you went for it. Take us through draft night. What's that like? Do you sleep? Are you nervous? Are you anxious? Do you know when you're going to go? Take us through that. Who picked out your outfit? Was your mom fixing up the bow tie, the tie? Take us through it.
Yeah, the whole draft process is crazy. Just like in general, like figuring out an agent, working out for teams, not knowing where you're going to be. It was wild. And then finally getting up to the draft night point, it was like, I kind of, my suit was like just like blue one. And I kind of wish I did something a little bit more than that. I had a nice little floral shirt, but I'm like looking back, I'm like, draft night probably could have went a little crazier. But at that time, I was definitely my fashion was a little more laid back. Still is laid back. Let's not get twisted. But I'm like, I could.
Rice Lake. It's Rice Lake, man.
Like,
that's
the
life.
Not anything crazy, but I probably could have done something a little bit more than just a little blue suit. But no, it was it was a crazy experience. I had my whole family out there in New York with me. I had my best friend growing up from high school who was we're the same class. My point guard, so he was out there and still best friend this day. So I had like my grandparents and aunts and uncles who been with me for my whole basketball journey. So it was a lot. It was a very special time. It was the whole week. Just being in New York, just kind of not knowing where I was going to end up at the end of the week. But it was a lot of fun. And then draft night was crazy. I thought I was going to get picked to a certain couple teams, didn't quite happen. So then I was sitting there and, a couple picks rolling around like 14th, 15th, teams I didn't work out for. And I'm like, I'm looking at the board, Memphis is 17th, Detroit's 18th. I'm like, I didn't work out for any of those teams. But then as soon as the 15th pick came in, my agent, handed me the phone, and it was Stan Van Gundy from the Pistons calling me, let me know that, hey, with the 18th pick coming up, we're gonna take you. And that just I got the call. I was excited, but then as soon as I heard my name get called, I teared up a little bit. Whole family was hugging me. So it's like, I knew it was going to happen too, but as soon as the commissioner says your name, there's nothing like it. It's so overwhelming. And it even gives me chills now. I'll talk a little bit about it, but no, it's just a very special night. Be able to walk that stage. It all just seemed so quick when it happened, but I felt like I was in the green room forever, because it's like, you're at home when you watch the draft. It's like, it felt like an hour and a half. So I got picked, and I was the 18th pick. So I'm like, felt like a while. I kept getting up, walking around a little bit just because I was a little anxious. But, thinking about it that night, it was a lot of fun.
That's amazing. And hey, maybe hit up Westbrook when you can for some fashion tips for any big events coming up in the future.
That's what, it's draft night. Like, you can definitely go out for like a draft night, kind of crazier suit. If there's anyone, like, I'd recommend to people in that position, like, just go for it. I'm not like my fashion sense is crazy right now. I'm like, draft night, I think you can put on a little more something though.
Exactly. And did you work out for the Pistons when they called your name, like beforehand?
No, they didn't. I didn't work out for them, and I only worked out for about 5 teams. Toronto was one of them. That was actually my second workout. First one was with the Timberwolves, and then so it's Timberwolves, Toronto, Lakers, Denver, and then Orlando Magic. And so they all had some top picks, and I thought going around like maybe expecting a call from them, but it never came. And it's just crazy how every team does their homework, every team does their research, and Detroit had me high on their draft board, and when they found out I was available, that they made the call. And so that whole experience of being not even talking to them once in a pre-draft interview or going work out for them was crazy. But
wow.
Then I ended up in Michigan the next day doing a press conference, being introduced as a new rookie. So it was a lot of fun, and I wouldn't trade for anything, for sure.
Absolutely not. So you get to Detroit, and you've played for a couple teams now.
Right.
What was your rookie year like? First question.
Right.
Share a little bit about that, and then what was your rookie year like? And then I'll save the second question. Let's go with that.
All right. So my rookie year, so I got drafted, and the Pistons just made the playoffs the year before as the 8th seed, but got swept against the Cleveland Cavaliers and LeBron James. And so, when I got drafted being the 18th pick, they had success the year before. And so then, I got drafted draft night, and I was mostly playing for especially that part of my career. They had Tobias Harris in the rotation roster. And then a couple of days later, they signed John Lohr. And so, coming in as a rookie, like, going mean stands, like, I don't expect you to be in the rotation right away. He's like, you're here, we're going to work with you, we're going to develop you. That was kind of the thing going in. It's like, they didn't expect me to play right away, but they expected me to work hard every day, come in, be a true professional, learn the game, know how to play the game. And so, it was a lot of learning. That was fun thing that I was learning on the job, like being around the game and getting these opportunities to go play in practice, go be competitive, just go compete, get better every day. That was kind of my mindset. I treated practice days like game days, and I had good assistant coaches to help push me, even on the days like, man, I just, I wish I was playing. Obviously in that position, you want to be in the game, and it was tough collecting a lot of DMPs, and I was in a suit for like a whole month at a time. And I was like, wow, this is crazy. So definitely an experience, but I felt like I got a lot better, got a lot stronger, and was able just to grow from that. But we had a really talented team. Ended up being the 9th seed, but a lot of guys I was able to learn from and who've gone on to different teams and be very successful.
Now, you made your rookie debut against the Raptors, I believe.
I did.
So, and you grabbed a few rebounds, but also go into your first shot made as an NBA player.
Right. And so, my first game actually was against the Raptors. It's funny you say that. I don't even remember. Now I do. Yeah, I was like, it's very towards the end. I remember my first bucket, but first game was against the Raptors. It was like a minute and a half left. I think 2 minutes left in the game, and I got shot up, didn't make it. And then a couple nights later, I think we're blowing out the Orlando Magic, and was able to get nice little pick and pots in mid-range too to get my first bucket. And so that's something you'll never get, getting your first bucket in the NBA. And I remember my teammates being excited for me and just getting my first career bucket. And no, it was a lot of fun, but yeah, just going through that whole thing, just not knowing where you can get in, and then 20 up, 20 down, you get thrown in at the end of the game is like, you just crave for those shots, just getting those moments to try to make something happen. So no, that was a lot of fun though.
So there's so much like ups and downs, as you know, you've been through it now 5 years.
Right.
The first time, you spent some time at the Grand Rapids drive in the G League in that first year, and obviously some time with the Nets. Talk about that sort of how you manage the ups and downs of, literally going up and down,
Right.
and your mindset in terms of handling that and managing, because you're an NBA player, you're a first round draft pick, lottery pick. Like, how do you sort of deal with that? Or what type of toll does it take?
Right. When I first got sent down, I probably, definitely wasn't as open about it as, I was later on, and especially now. I think now teams especially utilize the G League as a place for to get guys, actual chance to get game minutes. And I think Toronto's kind of set the example for that with their 905 program. I think with Van Fleet and Pascal, what they did with them early on in their career. And so, because when I was first as a rookie, is like teams were sending guys down. It was just kind of, but not for a while and stuff. And so, getting sent down, I wasn't always open-minded to it right away. I was a little frustrated. I'm like, man, I should just be, getting minutes with them and stuff. But as time went on, just using it as a tool to be able to get a chance to get better and actually play. Because it's like, at the end of the day, being the best player, that's all you want to do is just play the game and have fun. And so that was something for me, being a young rookie, first rounder, like you said. That was like, definitely had I don't know the word for it, but just make the most of that opportunity. And so be able to go down there, have a couple of good games my rookie year, and just be able to go play and get that confidence and like, hey, this is what I'm supposed to do on the court when I'm playing. I know that was huge for me. And, it was just a great opportunity for me to get better.
Well, I'll have to say a little bit of congratulations because, this past year, and I'm sure you maybe have heard this already, but today the 905 was announced as the NBA G League team NBA G League franchise of the year. And I know you were a part of that team, and I congratulated Kissy earlier for that as well. So, I mean, like, what's your mindset now? Like, you're coming back to the 905. This is a completely different system. What's it like?
Right. Yeah, no, it's crazy because, last year joining the 905 halfway through the year, it just seemed like everything just went so quick between when I first got there and then the season ended. But, we had a great group of guys. Kissy can attest to that. And, Coach Jam being our head coach, it was just, when I was able to get there, we were able to get a lot of wins and, starting to turn the team around, make the playoff standings, be able to make a great push. And so, that was a lot of fun for me. Like in my career, that's probably, something I really needed at that point in my career, is being able to play well and be on a successful team. And so, it was great for me to get that experience and, to be back here again with a whole new team. It's crazy. Matt Morgan's like my room right to the side there, and that's the only guy from last year for the players who's here. So it's a whole new team, but we have a great group of guys down here, and it's something last year's success I hope to emulate down here and be able to hit the ground running as soon as we start our games tomorrow.
Give me the dirt on Coach Kissy. What is he like as a coach? I want to know. Give me the scoop.
Wait, I think the connection's gone bad. Hold on. Rob, I can't hear you. Right.
No, Coach Kissy was great to me. He's telling me to shoot it the whole time. And so if you have a coach like that, of course you can go stand, you're going to want to be right next to him the whole time. He's like, Henry, you're open, shoot it. So I'm like, hey, Coach Kissy's my favorite coach.
Oh, how convenient.
So fun fact. Fun fact, Henry's destroyed the G League, by the way, averaging 20 points overall in his G League career, and 21, almost 22 with us last year in those 17 games, but shot 43%. I mean, this is a 6'10" big shooting 43%
when I
from the
first
three.
got there, yeah, I felt like it was like a perfect match for me. You know, I was able to play well with the Nets, but it was just like, we didn't get as many wins and stuff. And I was just like, you know, I was able to shoot a good percentage. But as soon as we got to the 905, I felt like everything was clicking the way it was supposed to be. You know, I don't know what we finished up the year, but we had one like a 15 or 12 win run, 12-5 or something like that to put us in playoff position. So I felt like a perfect fit. And I'm just hoping, you know, to kind of get the same success with this group here this year.
So talk about that, you know, short season, you know, what do we say, 15 games in 25 days or something like that. What are your expectations for this year? And especially for you, who's someone, as I just mentioned, who has had extreme success in the G League. What are you hoping to get out of it?
You know, like anything, you hope for the call up, but if you think about that too much, that puts too much pressure on your game. And so, like any basketball player who's be on the court, you should be focusing on playing to win, right? And just doing what you can to help the team win. And so 15 games here, I think everyone realizes that. And so it's going to be very competitive. And so to be able to lock in the whole time on what you can do to help the team win is going to be huge. And, you know, for me, that's being able to stretch the floor out, being able to pick and pop, hit shots, and then be able to, you know, create plays for being able to be a big who can handle the ball. And so that's something that's going to be huge for me. It's year 5 also for me. And there's some younger guys on this team, so I'll be able to step up as just a vocal leader when we need it, to be able to help guys go in the right direction. Because I remember what it was like as a rookie. You kind of run around with your head cut off half the time, like, which way are we sending the ball, or, you know, what play are we running? So it's like, I got to be able to do that for other guys. But, no, I'm just hoping, you know, just to get some wins here, like being down here, teams, GMs, love players who win. And so being able to do the little things and, you know, just being able to play the way we know how to play, I think is going to be huge. But I'm expecting a successful season.
All right, I have to ask because, you know, as Kissy mentioned, you've dominated the G League. You know, you've had a career kind of in and out of the NBA. And I feel like when I'm just researching on you and like reading your bio and everything, I feel like, you know, what you're kind of missing was a real true opportunity with the NBA franchise. Right. So, you know, you tell me, what's the gap here? Like, how can you bridge the gap this season to really make it known that, like, nah, I'm an NBA player?
Right. Yeah. That's something too. It's like getting that real opportunity. It's one thing, you know, to get thrown in one game, and then there's another thing to have a team who just, you know, lets you play, you know, 20 minutes a night, with play through mistakes and stuff like that. And so that's what I'm hoping to find, you know, to be honest, just find a real opportunity and to be able to make that next jump. I think for me is this off season, I was just working on getting stronger. Teams, you know, need guys at my position to be able to guard, you know, 1 through 5 these days. Everyone's kind of trying to play small ball. And so to be able to be a big who can move your feet laterally quick enough and to contest shots, it's going to be huge. And so I focused on getting my legs stronger just so I can be a better defender, but also, you know, being a guy who, if you leave open, is going to be a knockdown shooter. And so just be able to get my 3-point percentage higher. But, you know, it's such a fine line. It's just a matter of opportunity. Guys know that. Just find the right coach who believes in you and give you that chance. And so that's why I'm down here, just to get a chance to go play in front of coaches. And, you know, if you're in that call up, just hoping it's the right spot. And, you know, it's just a matter of opportunity for a lot of these guys down here, not just me. I know I believe in a lot of my teammates and a lot of what guys can do. And so it's just a matter of finding that right fit.
So speaking of, you know, opportunity, growing up and mentorship and believing in guys, growing up, who was it that you looked up to the most? Part 1. And part 2 is, when you got to the league, who was it that you were most excited to match up against?
So growing up, who I probably looked to the most, I'll say probably my older brothers, just being younger, wanting to be like them, you know, following them along, just like, oh, I want to be like these guys and like want to be basketball players and stuff. Those are two easy role models for me, especially, you know, being around them every day. But also a guy as a basketball player I looked up to was Carmelo Anthony, which is kind of funny, kid from Rice Lake, you know, liking Carmelo, but I just, you know, the Knicks were always on TV too, and they were winning at the time, and he was a scoring champ. And I always liked scoring, so I always just looked up to him, and so try to emulate some of the stuff I do after him. But especially like my shooting form, stuff like that. Always like if my shot looked like him, I'd be happy. But you know, and then when I was a rookie in the league, yeah, right. And when I was a rookie in the league, I was probably who I was looking forward to matching up against the most was Carmelo, and I was able to do that. So that was fun for me. But another guy was KD too, because just knowing what he can do, and sure enough, I got my wish to match up against him. He scored on me the first possession, but he does that to everybody.
How did the Carmelo one go?
Carmelo one was good. It was kind of like late game situation. Like we were already like Detroit, we were like this, you know, so it's like we were already down a little bit, but he didn't score, but I don't think he shot it either. But it was fun just to be able to run up and down the court with him a couple of times. But actually going on down the road, when I actually signed a two-way with Brooklyn, like before this season, we were playing pickup. And Carmelo was playing with us every day, and I was matched up against him. So I was like having a blast just being able to go up against him. And he had no clue. Like I was watching him, like, you know, laying on the couch all week in Rice Lake, Wisconsin, watching his games. But I was having fun going against him, trying to go at him and stuff. And it's like, I know all his moves, so I already knew the scouting report, so it was fun.
Any of your like, you know, childhood idols as an NBA player now, like not like off the court, like not just playing against them?
What'd you say? Sorry.
Oh no, like, have you met or had the opportunity to meet off the court any of your childhood idols that you looked up to?
Oh, you know, I was able to like play with a couple of them, like especially being in Brooklyn, you know, having KD there for the first part of the season. And he was hurt, but that was someone looking up to, be able to talk to him a little bit. And, you know, always growing up watching the game, you know, all these guys and stuff. And, you know, being in Detroit, having Andre Drummond there, a guy more local to my area, John Lure, who's actually from Minnesota, played in Wisconsin. His dad was my AAU coach for a year, and I was able to play with him. And so, you know, just small connections like that, you know, every teammate I've had has been a really good one. So it's really cool to be able to watch them, you know, growing up, and then to be able to play with them. You can't believe it at first, you know, this is the league you're in and stuff, but it's really cool.
Tell us about this team, this 905 team. What's the identity of this team? You've seen, again, multiple teams at different levels. Who is this team?
I think we're going to be a very selfless team. I think we got a lot of talent on the court. I think we got guys who know how to play. We have a lot of shooters. And so, you know, knowing that the Toronto 905 offense is, you know, being able to drive, kick, swing, to be able to find shooters, and we have a ton of them. So I think if you try to find an identity, it's going to be being selfless, but also then on the other end, being a team that's tied together defensively, being able to help each other out. I think that's going to be huge, to be able to fly around, be in the right positions for each other. I think being a selfless team is going to be huge for us because we have so much talent that the ball shouldn't stick, that we should be moving around. So I'm excited about that. Obviously, as the season goes on, you know, that's something you want to shoot for. And so just kind of keeping that mindset of wanting to be a selfless team will be huge, I think, for us to be a successful winning team.
it's really cool to hear, you know, and you're not the first one to mention the selflessness of this team, because, you know, in the G League, when everyone's trying to really just get theirs or go up to the next level or develop their game, like it's really special to hear, no, everyone's cool. Everyone's like selfless and sharing the ball, like good chemistry. Like I feel like that's going to really be rewarding on the court. But, you know, so some of your teammates have never been to or Toronto, and because you're at the team last year, you have. What could you tell them about the city?
Oh, about up in Mississauga. You know, I would tell them we'll be missing our fans because, you know, playing up in Mississauga, like they love 905 basketball, and we had great crowds if it was during the week or the weekend. And so, especially in the G League, you don't always find that in some places, but we had a lot of love for our team around there. So I would let them know that, you know, even though it's nice down here in sunny Florida, that we will be missing, you know, the 905 fans because they were great all season long.
And so you packed up your stuff from Rice Lake, knew you were going to the bubble. I have two questions. One is, what was the one thing you had to bring? You had to come with.
So I don't know if I even had to bring it, but I'm like, my mom was like, hey, if you're going down there, like, you should bring a book, you know, like, she's like, you're going to be down there for so long. He's like, you just can't play video games all day, or, you know, like watch TV. He's like, probably bring a book. So actually I brought two. And so I brought the Alchemist, and then I brought like, you know, like Chip Gaines and Joanna Gaines, like the HGTV, like they wrote a book. And so I brought one of theirs too, but I actually just finished the Alchemist the other day. So I need to let my mom know. She'd be proud of me. So that was kind of something like, I'm like, yeah, I probably should bring a book. You're right.
That's the teacher.
Sit on the bed all day.
Did anything in the Alchemist like resonate that you'd be like, oh, that's a cool mentality. Maybe I could try to apply to my game. Like, I don't like, does anything ever like resonate?
Yeah, it's such a cool book. I knew it was like a really, you know, a classic that like I think everyone should really read. And like my brother's an English teacher, actually, so he's like, that's a book you should read. And so, you know, reading that, just kind of reading about the personal legend and be able to, you know, just not being satisfied and know that you have a kind of goal, like an end game, and that, you know, there's going to be tough times, but if you keep pushing through, that you will reach it. That's kind of resonating with, I think, resonate with a lot of guys on this team. And, you know, especially me right now too, is like, you know, a lot of guys have that self-belief that they can do it. And so that's kind of what I read in that whole book, is just knowing from within is like, you can do it. So that was a great book. That's why I was able to read it so quick. I'm like this, yeah, just kind of ate it up.
So speaking of perseverance, can we expect a championship?
Kissy, I'm all for it, man. I thought we had a good enough team last year that the run we were making, I thought we were heading in that direction. I think we had a lot of talented players, but a lot of selfless guys who knew how to play, especially towards the end of the year. I thought we were rolling. And so when the season got cut short, I thought we kind of got cut short of our ultimate goal. And so I'm hoping to continue that same success. I know this is a different team and we have a whole new roster, really, other than me and Matt Morgan, but really it's a whole new roster and different coaches. And so hopefully to help continue that success, but also start like a new journey here and be able to get this group of guys to really buy in and believe for each other and, you know, win a championship. I think will be really special. It's going to be tougher than ever. There's going to be in the playoffs, even to make the playoffs, but then as soon as you get there, there's no series. It's just one and done. And it's going to be like back to going high school again, you know, trying to get to state, trying to figure out how you're going to get there, take that road. And so it's going to be definitely a challenge, but I'm excited for it. I think we have the talent. I don't see why we couldn't do it. And so that's definitely our goal.
What goals do you have for yourself? You talked about goals for your team, and you have the vet in you now where you like, you know, it's all about team. But talk about for yourself. What 5 years from now, what are we saying about Henry? But also, what is Henry putting out there for himself?
You know, for me, my goals have always kind of been, you know, it could be short term, it could be long term, it can be like little things like, hey, like have a goal to like read a book, or like a goal to like check something off your list. And so for me, like kind of having goals for the season is to, you know, up my 3-point percentage, because I think if I do that, teams will definitely have to start, you know, looking at me seriously again. And so that's definitely one goal I have for myself. Another goal is to, you know, to win. That's also a goal for me. And then, you know, off the court goals, I don't know what I got, Kissy. I don't know if I got any things 5 years down the road. I'm just hoping, obviously, making it back in the NBA would be a huge one for me. But you know, that's kind of where my mindset is at right now. And you know, this bubble's gonna go by quick. Things are gonna go flying by, and so you know, things are gonna go fast. So being able to lock in every day and just make the most of this experiences. You know, sometimes it might be tough, but we're not gonna be here for long. And so just realizing that, you know, being able to push through on the tough days, and then, you know, bring everyone up with you is it's gonna be huge. Off court goals, though, I don't know yet.
What though has playing in the NBA the past like 5 years in your career, like what has that taught you, like when you're leading this team now in the bubble?
Well, I just think back to my experience as like a rookie and as a young guy, and kind of thinking of like what I was thinking going on. And I remember getting yelled at by Stan Van Gundy for messing up plays and, you know, not doing the right thing. Like, so I'm just trying to help guys out with, you know, that stuff on the court, because I think that's huge, but also being for them here off the court. Because I know, luckily for me, I was a guy to get drafted, and, you know, I was able to be a first rounder and, you know, be with a team for 3.5 years in my career. And then, you know, to be able in this position now, and these guys are first coming out really hungry, you know, and trying to reach that goal. And sometimes that can be very stressful. I know how it is, you know, trying to make a team and, you know, trying to be on that and just being there for them, you know, letting them know that, hey, like, don't try to worry about things you can't control, but, you know, just worrying about the things you can control, and just having the right attitude of, you know, everything's gonna be all right, you know, having most fun with this journey as you can, because no one's gonna be able to play basketball forever. And that just, you gotta have fun with your own personal journey, and that just to make most of this whole situation, and taking everything just a day at a time.
What are you wearing this season? What's on your feet as you're hooping for this year?
Let me grab it.
Yeah, grab them.
So I'm rocking these purple Kyries. I got
nice.
size 18 feet. And so if I wear any high tops, like I'm wearing like winter boots, like on my feet, they just look like snow boots. And so I always rock low tops. So I'm wearing these Kyries. And actually, I got these purples for last year, but then our season got cut short because I'm like kind of going for the retro, you know, Raptors look, the purple and red. And so I got the purple ones here, and then
nice.
You know, I was able to get these while I was down here, get the new ones. And then these kind of the fun ones just to walk around on campus. These aren't basketball shoes, but I'm like, while here in Florida, I might as well get something colorful, right?
Yeah, I like
you
those.
You learn from draft day. You gotta spice it up a little bit.
Right. Yeah, for sure. These are my size 18 skis. So that's why I took up the whole camera. But yeah, that's what I'm rocking. I'm not like, awesome. I can't have much of a shoe game because I am size 18s. And like, if you ever look on the websites, like, oh, there's like 1,000, you know, size 10s, 11s, 12s. And then you get to size 18s, like you got a selection of like 50 kind of thing. So it's like, it's not like I have much of a shoe game, but no, that's what I got.
Hey, you gotta tell them to get you some customized shoes.
I know, right? Yeah, I just every once in a while I do like a little custom something, but I usually wear like some Vans or some running shoes just because that's just kind of my style.
Charles, do you have any more questions?
No, listen, Henry, thank you. I want you to go kill it. Looking forward to the fishing up in Rice Lake. I'm waiting on that invite.
I know, for sure.
have a great shortened season.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you. Appreciate the podcast invite. No, this is fun. It's good to reconnect with the guy Kissy, and shout out to the 905 fans listening out there. It's good. I enjoyed myself today.
Good. That's the main point. Yo, pleasure talking to you.
Yeah, appreciate it, Savannah.
Man, Henry Ellenson is a very well-rounded person. I could just tell, like, from his fisherman days to, his presence on the basketball court being, and such a great mentality, what he's going to bring into the G League, having NBA experience. Charles, what was your biggest takeaway?
Yeah, I think, I think the biggest thing, and it's been for many of these guys, it's a journey, right? And they're just trying to figure it out. Although he's had awesome success in the G League, he continues to have to work his way back. And it's like, what is that one thing that's going to stick him there? And, we talked about working on his defense and improving his three-point shooting, for a guy who already shoots above average, thinking about having to do it even better. And that's what the NBA is all about.
What I found interesting for sure is also the fact that he came from a very much basketball family with both of his parents, being coaches at some point, and also how tall his family is. He just casually mentioned his brother's like 6'8".
Yeah, can you imagine? I'm actually we should have asked him about his parents coaching together. What was that like? That's a whole nother topic, but definitely comes from the right place.
We're going to save that topic for the next time he's on the podcast. Thank you guys for listening. This has been your Raptors 905 podcast.